These NBA Finals have been nothing short of pure entertainment, with the Phoenix Suns starting this series up 2-0 and everyone counting the Bucks out, to the Suns now facing elimination heading into Game 6. And I just don't know what's going on with the Phoenix Suns. It seemed like they had everything under control in the first two games, but now they're facing some major adversity. And you can put a lot of the blame on this man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has been spectacular in this series, scoring 40 points in back-to-back finals games. And he and Devin Booker in these finals have become the only players to do that. And I will get to Devin Booker, just hang on tight. But right now, the focus is Giannis and the Bucks. Giannis in his first finals is currently averaging 32.2 points, 13 rebounds, 5.6 assists on 61% shooting from the field. And he is playing at his strengths, which is really a plus for his team, because when he's taking jump shots, it is not helping his team and it is favoring the opposition. The defense of the Suns is at the mercy of Giannis. He is dominating them in the paint, and he is playing at a very, very high level on the defensive end. And in Game 3 is really where the Bucks flip the switch on the Suns. In the first quarter of Game 3, the first home game for the Bucks, it was pretty competitive until the second quarter. The Bucks in that second quarter were displaying great ball movement and good shot selection and would build a 15-point lead at the half. But in the third quarter, the Suns slowly started to close in while Ayton was benched in foul trouble. But Milwaukee got back into a rhythm and built another double-digit lead, resulting in a 20-point lead by the end of the fourth. And that was all she wrote. And a lot of people were confused as to why Devin Booker did not participate in the fourth quarter, and I still don't know why. But the Bucks would win that game 120-100, and Devin Booker had a terrible game, shooting 3 for 14 from the field and only had 10 points. But then in Game 4, it was the battle of Khris Middleton, who has been phenomenal in this series, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit later on in the video, and Devin Booker, which was truly a battle to behold. And they were trading blows back and forth, jumper after jumper, and they would combine for 36 points at the half. In this game, Chris Paul was definitely struggling, and Giannis was good, but not at his normal level of play. By the second half, Booker in the third quarter went off for 18 more points, but in the fourth quarter, he got caught up in foul trouble, so the Suns tried to cope without him. And thanks to Jrue Holiday's terrible shooting night, the Suns were able to keep control. But in the fourth quarter, Middleton had the hot hand and kept Milwaukee alive. Phoenix led by 2 points with 2.5 minutes left before Khris Middleton hit 2 clutch baskets to give Milwaukee a 101-99 edge with 1 minute 28 seconds left. But then Booker tries to throw a lob to Ayton, which quickly was rejected by Giannis and was a clutch defensive play. And Chris Paul turned the ball over on a crucial possession, which ultimately lost them the game. But Khris Middleton would end this game with a great 40-point performance and spoiled Devin Booker's 40-point performance, which would be the first of Booker's back-to-back 40-point games. But Khris Middleton in this series has been playing like a Finals MVP, although Giannis will be the Finals MVP. Khris Middleton is averaging 25.4 points per game, 5.4 assists per game, 6.6 rebounds per game on 44% shooting from the field and 36% shooting from 3, and has really come up big for Milwaukee. But with the Bucks tying the series at 2-2 at home, it was believed that the Suns would win Game 5. But it was not to be. In Game 5, Giannis, Middleton, and Jrue Holiday all went off, scoring above 25 points, including Booker's second consecutive 40-point performance in the finals. But this game went down to the wire. And because of the great defensive efforts that Jrue Holiday displayed in the fourth quarter, getting a game-sealing steal, which he then allied to Giannis.
By Jrue Holiday, gets into the picture, comes up with the strip, turning the basketball over and then off to the races. Could have held it out, instead made the right read, throws it up where only Giannis can catch it, finishes it with the contact.
And bad decision to foul, because this would make it
A 4-point game with 13.5 remaining. Phoenix still has a timeout.
And that sequence would be the end of the game. The Bucks will win the game 123-119. And before I address the direction in which I think this series will go, I will have to talk about the performance of Chris Paul in these finals, which hasn't been bad, but has been pretty mediocre for his first NBA Finals appearance. And when I say mediocre, I'm not necessarily only talking about his stats, because he's averaging 21 points per game, 8.8 assists per game on 54% shooting from the field and 52% shooting from three. But he's also averaging 3.6 turnovers per game, the most amongst any player in the finals right now. And his best performance so far in these finals has been game 1, where he scored 32 points. But since then, his play hasn't really been getting any better. But I want you guys to listen to these key statements by Rusty Buckets.
So Chris Paul can't afford to not be great in order for them to win this series. He has to go above and beyond. He does need to be better. I don't think it's necessarily that much of a knock, because his stats in the last 3 games have not been terrible, but his presence has not been felt.
And Rusty Buckets is definitely correct on that point. Chris Paul will have to go above and beyond his average regular play in order for the Suns to be able to defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. Devin Booker is going out there putting out superstar shutout performances, while Chris Paul is just being average and has the nerve not to give 100% on defense, which he did quite well in the first 2 games. But Chris Paul is due for a big game, and I'm sure it's going to be game 6. And DeAndre Ayton has been very, very good in this series, but his defensive presence hasn't been felt, especially guarding Giannis. Giannis is just able to have his way with DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton is no slouch on defense. And I do get that the Suns have lost Dario Saric, who was one of their big men, so they're a little short on big men right now, so DeAndre Ayton is really all they have to offer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I don't want to make that an overlying excuse, because the Brooklyn Nets were definitely lacking in the big man department way more than the Phoenix Suns, and they played absolutely phenomenal defense on Giannis. But I do believe the Suns will put it all together in game 6 and secure the victory to make this a 7-game series. But considering that the Bucks have won 3 straight after being down 0-2, and they won on the road, and the Suns have yet to do that, it's really hard for me to see them win game 6, but I believe they will. But I definitely believe the Milwaukee Bucks will pull it out in 7, because they have shown us that they have what it takes in the biggest moments. And when it's all said and done, Giannis will be Finals MVP, and his legacy will look a whole lot more brighter, and so will his future. I apologize if I didn't get to touch on a lot of the other things that have been going on in this series, but in the comment section below, you guys let me know who you think will win this series and why. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, follow me on all my social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and thank you for watching.